All right, guys, it is mid-November right now, and this is a variety I just been calling Alec, A-L-E-C. This is a tree that came from my cousin's house. We bought some of the Melita plants around the same time. I got mine from one Home Depot. He got his from another Home Depot. The interesting thing about this Laverne Manila seedling is that this is a small fruit, but it averages about like 6 to 8 inches long. It's a really bizarre looking Laverne Manila seed. Like you wouldn't think it is a Laverne Manila fruit when you see it, just because of how long it is. It looks almost like an Asian mango or like a Valencia Pride. It looks something like that. But nonetheless, it is a Laverne Manila. It grows pretty well. And like some of the Laverne Manilas, they tend to be, sometimes you get unlucky and you got one variety that tends to be powdery mildew prone. This one seems to be a little bit powdery mildew prone, but it seems to set fruit through it pretty well. All right, so let's cut into this. All right, look at that. Nice yellow flesh. I kind of cut that and I kind of hit the seed husk. But if you notice I cut, there is some fiber, like minimal fiber near the seed. But besides that, I would consider this a nearly fiberless fruit compared to like a Laverne Manila, which is a very, very fibrous. Okay, so let's kind of take a taste of this. I'm gonna try the skin now. Edible skin, but a bit tough. And like I said, nearly fiberless flesh. Okay, what does this remind me of, right? This reminds me of 80% like an toffee flavor, and then like 20% kind of classic, that classic Florida flavor. The skin has a little bit of resin, but it's not a bad resin, but it's not that too pleasant too. It's not a piney resin, it's not an Indian resin, it's kind of like a strong either green mango resin or like a little bit of stronger kind of like a, I get that often on some of the Laverne Manila fruits, right? On the leaves, it's kind of like this kind of skunky smell. Not in a bad way. It's not that bad. Like it's very mild. Most people would just consider that a mango resin smell to it. By my opinion, this is like the best Laverne Manila seedling I've ever tasted. So I don't know what on earth this crossed with. That came from Home Depot. The one bad thing that it doesn't have that like the other Laverne Manila plants have is that the other Laverne Manila plants, they have a very good tasting green mango. Like when the green stage, it's very good tasting. It's not too sour. It's like this crispy flesh. This one, unfortunately, in the green stage is very unpleasantly sour, extremely sour. But maybe that kind of translates into a very high kind of sweetness ratio. Somebody once told me that, but I'm not sure how true it is, that the more sour a mango is in the green stage, the sweeter it tends to produce ripe fruit. just cut this in the side. I didn't get to show you guys the whole fruit. I mean, it has a pretty nice blush, right? This nice blush. This side had a nice yellow, but for the most part, I recall most of the fruits on this kind of remain green. Remains green when ripe. This kind of got a bit of a color blush on it when the sun hit it in the right spot. Like I say, minimal fiber near the seed. But man, this is like, I would call this a pretty much a fiberless fruit. Which you definitely don't get with a Laverne Manila, or a typical one. In terms of how this grows, it seems to grow pretty well. I don't think it's as vigorous as a regular Laverne Manila, but it's pretty vigorous. And there are some years where it doesn't even want to flower. I remember grafting this, and I grafted this on about three branches. None of them flowered in the first year, which was kind of surprising. I don't know why that is. But maybe it's a good attribute to have, especially for us in SoCal. Overall, this is a good mango. I say it's a mediocre mango, right? Let me take that. It's a mediocre mango. You could compare it to like an Altafo that you had in the store, something like that. But compared to a Laverne Manila, other than Laverne Manila seedlings, it's a superb fruit, right? I say mango, it's just kind of okay. And it's how I would rate some of the, some of the Altafos. It's good, but not incredibly great, right? Just okay. Alright guys, well that is my review of this Laverne Manila seedling. This is a smaller fruit. These get to like 6 to 8 inches long. It's a pretty large fruit. It's a Laverne Manila seedling, and one that I just been calling it Alec after my cousin. So hopefully, it's one that I think maybe I'll try to get passed around. People who want to experiment with this. It's an interesting one. The seed is polyembryonic, so it does produce true to seed, true type, produce some clones for you guys. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is a view of the variety for now that we'll be calling Alec, A-L-E-C. Thanks, everyone.